Hello, everyone. Today I'd like to talk about the Xbox One, what my impressions of it were when it first got announced, where it is right now, and what I see it being in the future, and my concerns and my current observations. Back when Xbox One was first announced back in May of last year, uh, you know, what we were presented with during their press conference and what we got were like two entirely different things. Um, Basically, they were trying to push this all in one media system where they mainly talked about that for probably an hour and a half and then didn't announce any games or didn't talk about games. That was like an unprecedented thing for me because it's like for me that was the whole reason why a lot of people were watching that whole press conference to begin with, because they wanted to see what games were coming out. And I understood why they didn't announce games at that point in time, because I guess it was like a month or 2 months. I think it was a month ahead of the E3, so they didn't want to announce any games then and just sort of spoil their E3 press conference, which I could respect. However, I felt like at that point in time they were pressing more on trying to improve this living room functionality and pushing the Connect 2.0, which they at that point in time let us know that it would be integrated into the system in such a way where it's not like an add-on peripheral. It's more like something that comes with the system that you can't get rid of. And then there's like all the then it was like they gave so little information on the actual system's functions, but so much on like media stuff that they're gonna add in there, like all these like they're gonna add a Halo movie, and they're gonna add premium certain premium content that's specially tailored for this Xbox One system, which I really had no problem with that. But if they were going to do that, I really feel like it shouldn't have been the central focus, because this is a video game console, and if they're going to announce that, then they should announce games. So that right there was a red flag for me. And I saw a lot of things that were things that I had some questions about. So like I started reading up about it on some gaming websites, and still it was like they gave such a sparse amount of information that when people went out and tried to get information about the Xbox One, that's when all the controversy started, because they gave such a small amount of data on the actual systems, what it's gonna do, what kind of features it's gonna have. Then later on, we learn about all the stuff, all the crap that they're gonna add, like the countless multimedia functions, the Connect 2.0, the DRM, this controversy surrounding game ownership, where you would not be able to own your own used games, or you wouldn't be able to resell used games. Basically, it would be like you're renting the games anytime you buy the games, which is like ridiculous. and and on top of that, they mentioned that they would have all these exclusives, but that still remains to be seen, even though all the other stuff has been changed. And later, a couple of months later, they did this whole 180 thing where they took back some of these suspicious aspects of the Xbox One, the DRM, the saying that the system didn't have to be always online, those things, like the way that they did it. I really don't think that I really don't know what to think about what Microsoft's intent was with the DRM and the always online, and then all this other stuff, connected together with this Kinect system, and the fact that it could read your heartbeat, and I don't know. The whole thing just came off like a weird presentation for me when I first heard about it, and I feel like they really should have clarified a lot in their presentation, and I felt like that would have created a lot less suspicion, in my opinion, if they just simply came forward and just said, okay, well, or at least just had some brief information about like the features of the system that would be distinct from what it was in the previous generation. That would have been a good first start. Well, the thing about it is that as the time came along for the system to be launched, well, let's go back to E3 first. During E3, they announced that the system would be $499 at launch, and that right there really put up in addition to all the other stuff, even if they got rid of a few of the things, that put up an additional barrier to me to entry, to really decide I'm going to get it, whether I would get Xbox One or not. I really didn't want to after that, with everything that they did, because to me, like, their actions were very either misinformed or just very careless. The way that they announced the system, the way that they are putting out all these bits of information after the fact, and then which are the most like heated and controversial the topics, and then they have this Major Nelson character defending the system and defending Microsoft, and it's just all this damage control and stuff. It just was a disaster to me, and I just said, we already have like one system that's like currently in a bit of controversy right now, which is the Wii U, and then like with this to me was a lot worse, because it just rung to me as a company that does not respect their consumer and is more sort of setting up these mechanisms to sort of keep the consumer under thumb, and it just didn't sit well with me, the way the whole thing played out, and I'm just sort of disappointed with Microsoft, because given their history with Xbox 360, back with Xbox 360 when it first launched, they had this whole when they first launched it had this whole impressive not just E3 presentation before it, but they had this whole impressive launch lineup, and sort of vow that they would make a good quality software library, and I didn't see that with Xbox One, and that was the key difference between Xbox 360 and Xbox One, is that I didn't see that kind of vow from Microsoft that they would put out, that they would have this sort of like quality library. It was more, multimedia, and living room. All this talk of connect, and very little talk of the games, which is the meat and potatoes of what they should have been talking about. And that to me is a reason why I just stayed away from the thing. Like after post E3, they started to like talk about a lot of the issues, like the fact that some of the games wouldn't play 720, wouldn't play full 1080p 60 frames per second at launch, and a bunch of other things like that. I really feel like those things are just sort of like minor compared to what their real problems are to me. I feel like their real problems right now are like their lie in their the way that they treat their customers, the way that like um, their whole like um, their whole focus to me is kind of misguided, which is still an issue, even though they got rid of one or two hot button issues. It's like they didn't really clean up the mess that they made, you know, like pre E3. So it's like I couldn't, in good conscience, go and get that system, and especially considering it would be the most expensive one on the market, and I really want to see Microsoft do well as well. But the thing is, given what they've done and given where they're at with their system, it's like I need to have a better I need to feel comfortable in knowing that my investment in if I'm going to spend $500 on a system, that it's going to have all the hard hitting games that you know, that I would expect from Microsoft, given their history with 360 and the original Xbox. So and in addition to that, like a lot of their anti-consumer practices and suggested movements just sort of made it a lot easier to decide that you know, I'm just going to hang back a bit until the system maybe drops in price, and then, you know, maybe pick it up later. But I at the moment I really am not much into the system. I didn't pick up an Xbox One. However, the thing about with Xbox One, I really feel like the positive sides of it though is that they have they did announce that a good amount of new IPs that are coming out back in E3, and I'm really interested to see what they do in terms of that, and as well as like Titanfall, which is coming out next month. Well, actually, it's coming out this week. Actually, sorry, Titanfall. Though it is also coming out on the PC, which is another thing, which is another issue I need to address, because, you know, Titanfall is not an exclusive to Xbox One, so it's another game, another like game that you could get on a PC that you don't necessarily have to get an Xbox One to get. So it's sort of like, I don't, you know, it's just no point in really getting the Xbox One just to get that game anyway. If you have a reasonably powered PC, you could pretty much get that game on there. But outside of that, I would really like to see what they do with Xbox One in the future, and you know, in terms of the functions, and if they were to like do things like take away the Kinect and maybe add in a headset, maybe drop the price a bit, maybe talk about more varied types of games besides just shooters. Maybe do several of those things, and, you know, I will potentially think about getting one in the future. But if, as it stands now, I'm really on the sidelines with Xbox One, because you know, as an owner of Xbox 3, of the original Xbox and the Xbox 360, I was expecting a lot more from. I was expecting like Xbox to be like the primary, you know, system that would have like all of the content that most, like, that it would be like the head system on the market, like it was with the 360. But, you know, things change. That's how things go, and the way things are going right now with Xbox One, it's sort of like a wait and see approach. I'd like to see them do better. With everything that's been happening within Microsoft lately, though, with the CEO changing, and with that kind of thing, it's also a good idea to wait because of that as well. Because who knows what sort of strategy that they'll implement in the future with this new CEO that's coming in. I would, but again, I really would like to see them do well, but I don't know whether or not that, based on what their actions are, how to read them, because they're sort of all over the place. If you ask me, it's more like they're just trying to sell these systems, but they're not really putting forth any sort of long-term strategy to me, where they're like putting out any games that are gonna that are really something that are must-have games. I don't see that from them yet. Everyone knows Halo is gonna come eventually. Halo is a given, but outside of Halo, outside of Gears of War, maybe they'll do another Gears of War, even though I don't understand how they'll do another Gears of War, considering that it was supposed to be a trilogy that and then after the trilogy it would be done. I don't understand how they would then even talk about bringing out more Gears of War games. It's just it's just gonna become if it becomes like Call of Duty, where it's this cash cow where they milk it every year, then it's gonna kill the whole point of that series. And I don't know, it's just something that they'll have to do. They'll have to definitely do some things to really convince me to get an Xbox One. But overall, I really hope that they do a good job in the future of the life cycle of the system to really turn things around, because the way things are going right now, it's not really a positive thing to me when I look at the Xbox One. But overall, I wouldn't tell people to not get Xbox One if you really like Microsoft IPs, and you like Halo and you like to play Gears of War. I'd say get it, but I would also say if you don't have the system yet, I would probably say wait until the price drops a bit. Maybe if they introduce another bundle without the Kinect included, I would definitely wait on that one as well, because that's the one I'm waiting on. If they introduce a bundle without the Kinect and they drop the price considerably, then I'll be on board. But for now, I don't see any reason to even own an Xbox One at the moment. So other than that, that's all I have to say about it. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and see you soon.